most people, the way they use AI is they will go to ChatGPT or Claude or Manus, whatever one you want to use. And they're like, hey, build me a funnel, right? And you're taking AI and it's just dumb AI that goes and that scrape the internet. And it's like, based on what I found on the internet, here's a funnel. And you're like, that's okay, I don't even know. Or you're like, hey, write me a headline for my new ad. And it's like, here's a headline. And just as smart as artificial intelligence is, there's no brain behind it. It's just kind of like you ask it something, it does something. And you're like, the quality coming back is okay, and it sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Most times it's just kind of, you don't really know. And so what I do is I create a brain that I build first, and then I ask AI questions and it pulls from this brain. So it's like I'm funnel hacking, I'm doing all this stuff, and I have this thing and I give it to the brain, I give it to AI, and it said, based on everything you know now from these funnel hacks, now write me a headline. Now build me a funnel. And that's how I get magic out of it. So this is a funnel I built. AI wrote this video with me. AI did all the animation. AI did everything. I wrote the entire script for this. It took me 4 hours to get the brain built. And in 1 hour, I wrote the script. It's a 50-minute VSL script. And then we use AI to produce it. And right now we're spending about $1 million a month to this video profitably. So this funnel is one of our most successful one. And the whole thing was built with AI. So when you start learning how to do it, you can speed up the process. You can do things that would take months. Like it would have taken me 6 weeks to write this VSL typically, and I was able to write it in an hour after I did 4 hours worth of the context work. I'm gonna show you here in a second. So it's really, really powerful. All right, so let me walk you through this. So this is how I look at how I use AI as a funnel hacker, okay? Is I have to create a brain that I'm gonna be able to plug into the system, right? So the very first step is I have to tell AI, what do I want the output to look like? Okay. If I just go like, hey, write me a sales letter, it's gonna be like, here's a sales letter. You're like, no, like that sucks. So instead I got to figure out what's the output. Like, what do I want this actually to look like? Like, what's the end goal, right? So I got to figure that out. Let's say I'm trying to write a webinar script. Okay. I'm going to go find like my perfect webinar training. Take my perfect webinar training. I'm gonna say, here's my perfect webinar training. Go learn the perfect webinar. And I'm gonna say, here's 3 webinars that Russell did in the past. Go watch these webinars and scan them and learn how he did it, right? So I'm gonna give it all the output so that when I tell it like, write me a webinar or make me a video sales letter or write me an upsell version, it's not just guessing. Every time AI guesses, 99% of the time it comes out with crap. Okay. So instead, I tell it, here's the output, exactly what it needs to look like. Like success is if your webinar looks like Russell's webinar, like that's it, right? And so I put all that context in there. So number 1 is output. The number 2 I put in is the context. Now, Manus does good job on outputs, but there's one AI that is the best writer. So if you're writing emails or videos or webinars or headlines, like the best writer is called Claude. Claude is like my artist friend. He's a little hippie. He's probably like, he's not perfect, and he's gonna like, he's one of those guys. He's the artistic type. Like if I ask Claude, I'm like, hey, transcribe this video. It's like, I tried to transcribe, can't work, and it just gives up. It's like, no. But it's like the artist, where you're like, I need you to create some art, make something beautiful. And then Claude's like, I can do that. And it'll paint you a picture. It'll make something, like the words that come out are beautiful. So I got my buddy who smashed, like the smash and grab buddy, Manus. And I got Claude, who's like my artistic, fruity tooty guy who's going to just make something beautiful. And these 2 guys are my people. So here's all the stories, right? Like, what Russell's webinars look like, but I'm writing a webinar for myself, for my clients. Right. And so these are my client stories. These are my stories I need to put in here. So I'm going to put in the context. Okay. So that way it's not just pulling randomness, but it's pulling the actual stories that you want to weave into the correct output. Because if you tell AI, write me a webinar to sell my green drink, it's going to do it. Right. But if you're like, here's what a successful webinar that sold supplements in the past did, and that becomes the output. Okay. Here's all of the stories about our green drink and why it's important and why we created it and who it is. And like all the context of why, like what makes your thing unique. And the third thing then is voice. You want it to sound like you. Okay. If you're not careful, AI will sound like AI. If I want it to sound like Russell, I need to upload Russell's voice, things like that. So that's kind of how it works. Let me show you kind of how to do it. So I had a video I wanted to create. So the video was, it's like a 3-minute explainer video to explain this new software app that we're working on, which you guys had a chance to play with, Backstage Pass. So I was like, I want to create a 3-minute video explaining that. And I was like, okay, if I tell AI, make me a 3-minute explainer video, it'll do it. And it's going to suck. It's not going to be good, right? So instead, I was like, okay, what do I want this to look like? I'm like, hey, where have I seen really good 3 to 5 minute explainer videos in the past? Like, who's done a good job of it? I started thinking and thinking. I was like, oh, there's this company who's the best in the world of this, okay? Some of you guys have heard them. They're called the Harmon Brothers. In fact, what I did is I was like, hey, what's up, Manus? Here's all of the Harmon Brothers videos. Can you go to this page, download all the videos, transcribe them all, and then give me all the transcripts of it? And Manus is like, sure, no worries. And then it's like trying. And it'll spend like 20 minutes like trying. It's like, doesn't work. And then it smashes through all, figured it out. Here they all. And it gives it to me. And guess what? I know Manus does other things, but as a funnel hacker, this is the only thing Manus does for me. It is just my buddy who I'm like, I'm funnel hacking everything. Go and find this. And it'll go and just rip things apart, right? If you don't even know how to find things, you're like, hey, Russell Brunson's really good at webinars. Can you go find some Russell webinars? I don't know. And it'll go find, here's 5 places I found Russell webinars. I'm like, sick. Go transcribe them all. And it'll go find the video, download it, transcribe it. And again, I pay $200 a month for it. That's the best $200 I ever spent. Like, I'm just putting stuff in here and it just does the brute force work for me. So now I got to put in the context. And so this can be as simple as like, if you have a client, it's like interviewing them, get on Zoom with them and be like, hey, tell me everything about your product. Why did you start this? What's the reason? And like, you just have them brain dump all the context, the stories, the reason why they did it, blah, 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 blah. And they see as much context as possible, right? And they just tell you stuff. You just sit there, listen. As soon as that's done, guess what I do with that video from Zoom? I go into Manus. I'm like, hey, Manus, take this 4-hour interview I did with the client and smash it, transcribe it, right? And Manus is like, I got you. And it goes and transcribes the whole thing and then it gives it back to me, right? So now I have the context. So I know exactly what the end goal needs to look like. I know exactly all the stories you got to smush into the end goal to make it look perfect. And the last thing then is you got to find the voice. So whoever is going to be the person doing the sales letter or the video or the ad or whatever, you want it to sound like them. The worst thing in the world is like, AI will give you something and it's like, here's a script to read. And you start reading it and you're like, that does not sound like me at all. I feel like an idiot trying to say it that way, right? So what I do is like, if I'm getting AI to write something for me, I upload all my books. I'm like, this is how I write. Just copy that. If I'm trying to write a webinar, I'm like, here's webinars of me. Copy that. If I'm trying to do a 3-minute video, I find a 3-minute video of me and I upload that, right? Or of your client, right? If your client has done a stage presentation before, grab their stage, like this is my voice, make it sound like that, right? So those are the 3 pieces. That's the magic trick for funnel hacking for me. So every time I'm funnel hacking, I'm looking for those 3 things. What's the output that I'm trying to get it to match? What's the context, the stories I got to smush into the output, and how do I make sure it's got my voice right so it's not going to screw it up? When I have those 3 things, AI will give me magic, okay? Magic. Now, it's been said that for every 1 word you want AI to output, you have to put 500 words with the context in. Holy cow. I literally paid Harmon Brothers $500,000 to do this last time. I pay Claude $200 a month. And he did that project and 22 other ones for me this week. Okay, like it's like the cheapest side employ. I wish I had equity in Manus and Claude because I would love to get affiliate commissions for all you guys using it, but I don't. But it's amazing. I'm a genius, okay? But I'm a genius because I built a brain for the AI. I didn't just ask it to do something, okay? And I did it by these 3 things. Step number 1, put the output, tell it to go analyze it, and then tell me what it learns. Step number 2, I put in the context. Go analyze all the context I just gave you. And then pull out all of the stories that you think will be essential to plug into the output that we're going to be creating. So it'll go find all the stories, it pulls back out, and it'll give me a doc. Like, okay, based on everything you sent me, here's the origin story, here's this story, here's this. And it'll take the brain dump that your client did that was all over the place, and it'll organize it, and it'll snap it into where it needs to fit inside the actual sales script at the end, right? Insane. Then number 3, here's a couple of transcripts of my voice or my client's voice. Do you understand how they speak? Go analyze those and like then tell me. I ask it like, tell me what you learned. And it's like, oh, I learned that Russell Brunson talks really fast. He slurs his words. He doesn't, whatever. But it'll tell you what it learns about your voice. Now we can ask AI what to do. But if you ask it before you give it those things, it's going to give you crap results. You do the funnel hacking ahead of time, plug it in. You look like a genius, and the output is done so fast and so good. It's insane.